Paws for the Cause on Fox Wilmington is sponsored by
Well, Easter weekend, so we are going to be talking about rabbits, and I have Jenny joining us right now from New Hanover County Rabbit Rescue of Wilmington with Pepper and Hopper. Thank you for coming in.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
I said it's Easter weekend. A lot of folks are probably thinking, oh, I want to get my child a bunny for Easter weekend, but we want to really make sure that they're thinking this through completely, because you know they're different. They're different from your typical pet. So you see the need for these animals to be rescued a lot.
And a lot of it stems from Easter, because a lot of parents will go to local stores and buy the rabbits while they're babies, and then when the children get tired of them, then a lot of people just throw them out and they get eaten by wildlife, or they starve to death, you know, out there in the wild, because they don't have the capabilities of like the instincts that a wild rabbit has.
Right.
So they will eventually die if they're not caught and rescued.
But you would, I mean, I guess it's easy to think about that because of the fact you do see them hopping around, you know, on the road. But again, important to know that these are not the same. These are domesticated rabbits, and so they need to be cared for just like your cats and dogs. They need to be spayed and neutered too, right?
They sure do. We spay and neuter them, and it's important too. They eat 80% of Timothy hay that they do not find in the wild. So if you dump a wild rabbit, they will starve to death.
Oh gosh.
Because they do not know what they can and cannot eat. But we do spay and neuter all the rabbits to help with the overpopulation, because they are the third most popular pet behind cats and dogs. So there is a need to spay and neuter them. Besides that, that does make their lifespan a lot longer, so they can live 10 to 12 years if they are properly cared for and spayed and neutered. And we also litter box train them as well.
Oh, wow.
So they are house trained to use a litter box. And we do teach people about house rabbits, where they're not supposed to be kept in cages, so they have like an exercise pen in an area that is their space.
Interesting.
So, you know, it's kind of like crate training a puppy. It's somewhere in between having a dog and a cat having a rabbit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. And we want to find Pepper and Hopper a home, but they need to go together.
Yes, Pepper and Hopper are a bonded pair. We have a couple of bonded pairs at the rescue, 2 of them actually, and this is one of them that we've had for a while. They are both about 4 years old. We had Hopper originally as a baby, and he was returned to the rescue after a year with a friend that was spayed and bonded. So now
you want to keep them together.
Yeah, because once you bond a rabbit, you have to keep them together because they mourn. So yeah, they have to stay together. They're bonded.
Well, they are just.
And this is Pepper, and
precious.
she's a girl.
Precious. So we've got Hopper on my lap and Pepper on Jenny's lap. And again, we really want to get them adopted. Remember, though, this is a lifetime commitment, just like your cat or your dog, and your different things you want to do when you do adopt a rabbit. I'm sure Jenny would be interested in talking to whoever. I'm sure you have an application process, right, for people to fill out.
We do. If you send us an email, we screen the emails, and we try to talk to the potential adopter about what they need to do before we set up an appointment for a meet and greet. So, for example, we would want them to get like the proper setup and show us that they have that before we even meet out with them, because we're not just trying to send rabbits to whoever wants them and they're going to keep them in a small animal cage.
Right, you got to vet it.
Because that's neglect. I mean, a lot of rabbits, and I've seen them through the rescue, that they were kept in those cages and they have paralysis because they're not let out to exercise. So we don't like small animal cages for bunnies. They're more for guinea pigs, not for rabbits.
Okay, good to know, good to know. So if you are thinking about adopting a rabbit, please consider Pepper and Hopper here, and we've got all the information. We're going to post it onto foxwilmington.com for you a little bit later. Thanks again for coming in.
You're very welcome.